Whoa, hello. Welcome to Monday Night Live. As you can see, I'm sounding a little bit horsey tonight. Someone didn't even recognize my voice. So, welcome. If this is your first time, I'm Yvonne Shepherd, founder and CEO of Women's Fitness Adventures. I don't normally sound like this. I've got my radio voice on. If you are watching live, please go ahead and say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. And if this is your first time, please let me know as well. On today's Monday Night Live, I'm going to talk about preparation for the trail and how, the things you need to do, but some really great case studies and stories that we've seen just this week as well of our members who have prepared and successfully summited Mount Kosciuszko as part of our Couch to Mountain program. So if you're watching right now, you may have also seen me at the very beginning of today, almost 12 hours ago, where we started our 12 days of Christmas fitness challenge every day. So from today right through for the next now 11 days, we are doing a fitness challenge online on our main Facebook page right here. So today we started off with 1. Tomorrow will be 1 plus 2. So by the time we get to 12 days, there will be 12 exercises. So it is a challenge by the time we get there. So join in 6:15 a.m. live Brisbane time on our main Facebook page, or it will be available all day for a replay. So just jump in. Today was a minute. And just keep progressing from there. So we'd love for you to join us. And it's our second year of doing it. We had such a hoot last year. And our clothing might progressively get more Christmassy as we go. So I'm just going to chat tonight about preparation for an adventure. So you may have seen also happening over on our Facebook page or right here on the Facebook page, our Couch to Mountain team, our first team, have summited Kosciuszko as part of that amazing program that we do. So they did have some ridiculous weather, but they were all successful in their achievements. So hopefully you've seen them on the page and you've given them a big shout out because it is a really big achievement. So let me just talk quickly about Couch to Mountain. I know some of you watching, hello Karen, hello Carmel, and hello Margaret, have done our Couch to Mountain. Others who may be watching are about to do our Couch to Mountain, the second program, which I'm leaving for tomorrow or Wednesday. And our summit days at this stage planned for Thursday. So the Couch to Mountain program was a dream of ours about 8 years ago, and 5 years ago we brought it to life. And how could we help women or encourage women or be part of women's journeys to summit Australia's highest peak from regardless of wherever they lived. And so the Couch to Mountain program, our dream became a reality, and many women are now our torchbearers for that dream to take on to other women. And what it is from wherever you might live, is you join on the program and you train for that program online every fortnight with the rest of the team for 6 months through our training programs and our courses, and we talk about gear and language and equipment, all that sort of thing. And then you get together for a 4-day in-person adventure down at Mount Kosciuszko, which they've just done. Their first group, and then our second group leaves this week. Hello Sharon, hello Kerry, and hello Lynn. So if you've been over and seen the pictures on the main Facebook, or right here on the main Facebook page, you'll see that they were in true alpine conditions. And why are we so big on safety here at Women's Fitness Adventures? Why are we so focused on making sure you have the right gear and the right equipment and the right mindset, all those safety aspects? Is because you just never know what weather is going to do. You never know how things are going to pan out on the trail. And today, you may know that every Monday I do some hiking in Brisbane. Today on the trail, we had some people stop us and ask us, what have you got in your bags? Have you got bricks in your bags? Which was a pretty silly question, I thought. I mean, it was very hot today, very uncomfortably hot. But, they said, what are you training for? And we told them, and then they said, what have you got? Bricks in your bag. And I do know that, I've done many trails. I probably do 6 to 7 adventures a year. And I've been doing that for, I probably average 4 adventures a year over the past 10 years. And so that's a lot of hiking, multi-day hiking adventures. And I can tell you that probably on about 70 to 80% of those, people have asked me for pieces. Other hikers, not in our groups, have asked me for gear and equipment that they can have access to. Can I borrow some of your Imodium for gastro? Do you have any spare water? Do you have some bandages or first aid? Do you have a torch? All those sorts of things. Do you have a spare set of clothing? Do you have a spare raincoat? Because I don't have a raincoat at all. All of those questions we get asked, and that's why we're so focused on educating and empowering our members, our women hikers, to be fully prepared for adventure. So the couch to mountain is that in its very essence of, you may have been on the couch for whatever reason, the couch being your literal couch. And that could be because of injury, because of illness, caring for others, busy at work, whatever that focus has been for that period of your life, and you want to get back into fitness or hiking or something, and you're not really sure where to start. So it's a group that starts together and finishes together. And we might think that we start off being about the I, being about me, but very quickly that switches to being about the team. So if you saw those pictures, you will see that they experience true alpine conditions. So the day may start off bright and sunny, and this has happened in Iceland, it's happened in New Zealand, it happens in a whole lot of different locations, is that you just don't know how weather is going to pan out. And we've been on that trail in Kosciuszko. As I said, we've done that for 5 years now, and we've done lots of hikes up there before that, and we've seen people up there with absolutely girls in tiny shorts and singlets, not that there's anything wrong with that, at the peak of the mountain, and then all of a sudden a storm blows in, you can't see for heavy fog and rain and cold, and they have nothing with them. And that's really putting everyone in a dangerous, or them certainly in a dangerous position. But it means that people who have to go seek them out if they get into trouble, it also puts them in a situation that they probably didn't need to be in before. So our goal is to really encourage every person, or every woman in particular in our community, not only the skills of hiking, but the safety aspects of hiking as well. And I know for many of you watching here, who else? Sharon and Kerry and Lynn, and two Lynns, no, same Lynn, Marie and Christine, that your experience of what you've learned with us has stood you in such great stead for all the hiking that you do, not only with us, but beyond our boundaries as well. And I think that that's really an important thing. If you have a story or any comments that you want to share, I'd love to hear from them as well. And if you're watching and you haven't yet said hello, please go ahead and say hi. It always makes my job a little bit easier in the afternoons, and it's nice for me to get to know you as well. But the other thing that, I was down in Melbourne on the weekend, and I caught up with our Victorian members for some of our Victorian members for a Christmas lunch, which was just so delightful and so lovely, was they were really excited about the education that they get from us, and that, what they learn, they can expand on and take that into their own personal situation. So that also switches over into fitness. And, I have people say to me, and I think I might have said this before when I recently did part of the Inca Trail in Peru, was that there are, without putting any other businesses down, there are persons out there that will tell everyone, and these are people who don't hike, but perhaps in the travel industry, that they're easy hikes, that they're beginner hikes, and they're actually not. So, it is important to have the right level of fitness for the right adventure, not just from a safety aspect, but for an enjoyment aspect as well, because you've put in you've invested your time and you've invested your money into going somewhere, that you want to make sure that investment pays off. You want to make sure that you've done the training so that you can enjoy it. You want to make sure that you've done the training so that you don't injure yourself. You want to make sure that you choose the right adventure as well, so you're not cursing yourself every single day. And it may be that I've spoken about this for a long, long time, but, asking questions is really, really important. And I was chatting with someone online the other day who's going, or not online, I was chatting with someone who's doing one of our programs and going on an adventure that's not one of ours next year. And she asked me about the training programs that we have for our members on our adventures. And the one that she's on doesn't yet have, well, they don't have a training plan. it said you should just be training for your hike right now. But it's very hard to train for something if you don't know what the end goal is. So I think that's really, really important. So I'm just going to share, hello, Leonie and Christine and Susan and Joanna. Lovely to have you here as well. Marie was recently on our New Zealand North Island hiking adventure where we did the Tongariro crossing, and the weather did exactly as it did for our girls on Couch to Mountain. So she said the changes in weather on the Tongariro crossing really showed the need to be prepared. So many others were caught out. Yeah, absolutely. And when we did it last year as well, absolutely picture perfect day in the morning heading off. Perfectly blue sky. We got to the summit. We got down and had our lunch by the pools there. And just as we finished our sandwiches, the rain came down and there was barely enough time to get our wet weather clothes on before it was absolute torrential rain for about 2 hours. And there were so many, and it gets cold then. It gets really cold. And when you get cold and you get wet, it is very hard to warm up. And so here you are, the wind might come in and you're getting colder. There's a whole lot of elements that you're now in a situation that's quite dangerous, not just for you, because you've still got a long way to hike, but for those in your hiking party as well. Hello, Gwen from beautiful Port Macquarie. But there's also, this fitness is that when we train for our hikes and we get to a certain level of fitness, we need to keep going. We just need to keep that as our new norm. That is our new status quo. Because if you've trained well, if you've got the safety, if you have all the knowledge, you're going to fall in love with hiking. I can assure you, you'll fall in love with hiking and you want to keep doing that. So the way to keep doing that is to just keep maintaining that same level of fitness, no matter where you are. So the other thing, excuse me, I am a little bit under the weather at the moment, it's easy to say one thing and do another. Now, I know we're coming towards the end of the year. There's only a couple more weeks left before, most offices close down for the year. And we can all think about, reflect on the year, think about our words for next year, think about our goals for next year and our plans for next year. And I ask those who are watching and anyone watching on replay, what were your intentions at the beginning of the year in relation to hiking? Did you want to do a hike and you never ended up doing one? Or were you one of those people that actually did as you said you were going to do and got into hiking and took some action? And I know for all of our Couch to Mountain women, those who have just completed it and coming home tonight, and those who are heading off with me in the next couple of days, is that when we were interviewing you for the Couch to Mountain program in May, that you had said that this was something that you really wanted to do, and you found a way, you found the right way in, and now you have all these skills and all these amazing talents in hiking that you can then go forward and, say and do whatever you want when it comes to hiking in the next chapter of your life. So think about what you said for yourself, your intentions were at the beginning of the year in relation to your hiking or your hiking fitness or your fitness in general. And if anyone wants to comment, that would be great. Here we are at the end of the year. Are you where you wanted to be? Was there reasons that you aren't, reasons for being derailed or not derailed as well? So, I think that's really important because, when I was in the Uber on Saturday, the driver asked me what I did. I shouldn't have told him because he took the wrong turn and I was then 20 minutes late to get to the lunch. Because he was so busy asking me questions, and he said, I would really like to do something like that. I could set up this, blah, 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 blah. But it's one thing to say one thing and it's another to do, because we all have the best intentions, but intentions don't shift the dial. So, if you have the intentions, just back it up, just start with something, because the time is going to pass anyway. I say that every single time. And that's why I get so excited about all our adventurers, all our Couch to Mountainers, all of our women off on some fantastic multi-day adventures. And I was, in 2 weeks, we've got our team going off to the Royal National Park. And I was just looking at some pictures on Facebook today, just some live pictures of down there. And there were some whales having an absolute whale of a time just off the coast of that. But I was reaching out to our girls who did our Germany adventure last year and asked them for some of their feedback on Germany, because we've got Germany coming up again in May. And, just the walking down memory lane, the stories they said, and our Painter's Way hike in Germany is in the eastern part of Germany, and our guides are what we all term as East German, and they shared their own personal stories with us. We know our guides really well. We build these lasting relationships with all of our suppliers, and so they open up and they share their personal stories, and sharing their stories of their lives growing up in East Germany, what that meant for them, what that meant for their parents, them as little kids and them as their parents, and how that compared to the stories that we were told, that we believed as we all grew up in the world that we live in. But the most important thing that they take out of it is how surprisingly beautiful that adventure was, and that, the how unprepared they were for the dramatic scenery and the food and the friendliness and all of those wonderful things that adventure, and I guess the changing scenery as well. So in terms of preparation, they were fully prepared for the adventure, but in terms of preparation for what the adventure was going to deliver in terms of scenery and fantastic things, well, they weren't quite prepared for that. And all of them said they would do that again in a heartbeat. So if that's something that is of interest to you, jump onto our website and have a look at that one. Training plans for that will come out in February of next year. So really, really important. But as I mentioned, as I was out hiking this morning, these people stopped us. They wanted a long chat and asked if we were carrying bricks in our backpack. And we said, no, we're training for these different adventures. And then they proceeded to tell us all of their adventures that they had been on. But I really began to wonder, because if you stop someone who's got a backpack that has what would be the essentials in it for multi-day hiking training, then why would you, and you are a multi-day hiker yourself, why would you ask someone if they're carrying bricks? So, this preparation for adventure, this educating for adventure, this, understanding of the whole hiker, the complete hiker, is a really important thing. So our couch to mountain, they wore everything that they had. So we had prepared them for alpine conditions, how weather can change instantly, thanks for the thumbs up, whoever that was. Oh, hello, Anne. Nice to have you here. The weather was rainy, so we were able to change our days around for the 2 hikes and do the summit day on the least rainy day. But, having all that wet weather gear there, having the layers there, which might have seemed like overkill if the day had started sunny, to have thermals and beanies and raincoats and overpants, gloves, all that sort of stuff. But, when it really mattered, it really mattered. And I think that is one of the most important things. I often say this too when it comes to first aid, when it comes to water, always have more than less. Don't go overboard and don't make your pack super heavy, but always, have those snake bite kits, have those, Compeeds or blister protection, have those extra, Panadols or pain relief, have that extra water. You can always tip out the water, have that extra food. You don't need to eat all the food, but if you have it, at least it's there as an option. So, that preparation for adventure, if there's an accident on any adventure or anything in life, it's usually not what happened immediately before that causes the accident. It's what has happened maybe 4 or 5 decisions ago that cause an accident. So think of that or success. So think of that in your daily life as well. If things don't go to plan, was it because you left that last decision to the last minute? Or if things did go to plan, what was it that made it go to plan? Was your preparation a little bit better? And I think that, there's all those sayings and all those quotes about preparation is the key to success, and preparation prevents poor performance, all those sorts of things. But when it comes to your hiking fitness, when it comes to your hiking safety and hiking health, think of yourself as the whole hiker. Think of preparation. Think of how amazing our Couch to Mountain team are, and the first group, and then the second group will be just as amazing, I'm sure. And how, coming from standing start back in July when they began to where they are now, They are really accomplished hikers that can take on any trail in the world. So if Couch to Mountain is something that you would like to do for next year, the waitlist is open now for next year. The program doesn't start until July, but we will be sending out information around about April. So if that's something of interest to you, then please go ahead and just drop me a line here saying I'm keen on Couch to Mountain. And Anne says, I got here before it finished this week, usually the replay for me. Well, there you go, Anne. Things are going well for you. So that is it from me tonight. My voice is a little bit croaky, so I won't talk for too long. Thank you for tuning in. I do hope you have a lovely evening and a lovely week. If you are in very hot human conditions where I am, please take care. It is very, very warm out there. So please make sure you're staying well hydrated. Well, that's regardless of wherever you live. So thanks, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.